Hey ladies, this is Mocha Mami here, bringing you another video, and I'd like to thank you for over 350 subscribers. You'll notice a lot when I record my audio. You'll see that it's in the car. You'll see that I'm out for walks, and I haven't done any lives. That's because I've realized how time consuming it is, and I have a lot of respect for consistent content creators. But it also made me realize, to create an edited video with receipts and proof and research behind it is time consuming for a working wife and mother. So it really lets me know the caliber of people who you're letting into your brain space who do lives and don't provide receipts. To be able to sit somewhere for 4, 5, 6, 8 consecutive hours and just spew a bunch of nonsense and let people come up that are unvetted, unproven, just come in and spew a bunch of things. It just really lets me know the caliber of content creators that are out there occupying your brain space. And so I would just like to encourage you guys to take that into consideration when it comes to the content that you're consuming. So as this channel begins to grow, I'm going to decide to just start to engage more with my subscribers. And I just look forward to the growth of this channel, and I thank you for your support. Now, I'm going to make a decision on this channel. So in honor of my 350 plus subscribers, for every 100 subscribers I get, I'm going to respond to a viewer comment. Now, this viewer comment really made me want to engage and really gave me a lot of inspiration, but also had some points of concern. So I just want to address some of the encouraging points, some of the concerning points, and then give you a little bit of strategy for how I would deal with it. The comment reads as follows. I'm still iffy about putting myself out there because I'm a broke, not really feminine, and college is really killing me. But watching this video gave me the strength. So I had replied that being in college is the perfect time to start meeting people. And it doesn't matter how much money she has or how her looks are at this point, as far as developing her femininity, but she does have some strengths that she can play to. So I'm going to highlight what some of those strengths are and how she can use them, even the things that she sees as setbacks, as ways she can improve and ways that you as listeners can improve to strategize for a better future and better foundations and just a more encouraging 2021. Now, the first statement that concerned me was college is killing me, right? As a former instructor and someone who's been in college for quite a few years, having been to college and had done quite a bit of college, college is killing me. That's a huge source of concern. The first thing that I would suggest for her to do is get some sort of academic support. When we're talking about divesting and burning capes, one of the capes we have to burn is that superwoman cape, thinking that we can handle everything, do everything, and we have to do everything by ourselves. Getting academic support, there's no shame in that. We have to divest from being last minute, half-ass, a day late and a dollar short, hoping that the professor will give us extra credit at the last minute in order for us to get at least scrape by with a C. What we need to do is when we first notice a problem, when we first notice a challenge, go to that professor first. I'm going to give you an example of a story that really highlights this and how you can use your academic struggles to your advantage. I had one student who wanted to do a pre-nursing allied health major, but was really struggling in math. She said, I hate math. I've never been good at math and I don't like math. And this is the first thing. A lot of college professors, they're very passionate about the subject matter they teach. So when you clearly articulate out loud that you hate math, what you're doing is insulting that person's passion and almost insulting them on a personal level. So keep that opinion to yourself. Also, spewing out negative things never yield a positive result. She had a 64 average after the first test and homework assignments were due. I said, immediately go to the professor's office hours. Go over all of the questions you got wrong on the test and correct them together. And that's exactly what she did. She made the test corrections and realized that she had a foundational math issue, right? That there was an issue with things like long division, multiplication, which is a foundational skill, and she had to shore that foundational skill up. She came to the professor's office hours very regularly with homework assignments, tests that needed correcting, where she can then further build that skill set up. Now, one of the things that instructors live for is that light bulb moment when a struggling student finally gets and grasps the material and concepts and then makes a complete turnaround. And that's exactly what happened with this student. She ended up leaving that algebra class with an 88 average. And then even after graduating, going on from her ADN, her associate's degree, to her BSN, she still came to that professor's office hours for classes like pharmacology, classes like statistics that she needed for her bachelor's degree. That professor ended up being one of the references that helped her get her first job. And he had revealed, even with her 88 average, that's a B+, that she was one of his favorite students. See, it helped to turn the whole trajectory of her academic career around by just admitting that she needed the help and by going to someone who's passionate about the subject matter and passionate about helping students. She was vulnerable with him, and then that helped her to further succeed. And he was even open to helping her as she moved forward in her academic career, and was even willing to support her as she went to further pursue her nursing degree. So those are some of the things that burning the cape can get you. Stop with the strong Black woman. Stop with the thinking you can do everything. Stop with overwhelming yourself and not being vulnerable, or thinking that other people are going to think you're stupid. Letting your vulnerability show is not only a feminine trait, but it's also a really great way to empower you to get the skills that you need to move forward. Now, attending office hours regularly can also be a really good way to reach out to your fellow students. For instance, if you take an exam and you go back and get the test corrections done with the professor, you can now write to the fellow students like, hey, I've just gotten insight on exam X or the next test that is coming up. Anybody want to study? I'll be at the student union, the library, study room blank at this time for anyone who wants to join me. You'll come to find that if those study sessions are in Zoom or in person, other people may show up. And that's such a great opportunity to get to know your fellow students. Now, once you guys get on the Zoom session, or once you guys get in that study group, what you're going to do is have everyone introduce themselves, their major, and what brought them to that particular college. I'll give you an example. My name is Mocha Mami. I'm a nursing major, and I'm at College X because I work full time, and this allows me a good work-life balance. Someone might say, my name is Jimmy, and I'm going to this college because my grandmother graduated from here. So every time now you see Jimmy or you see Mocha Mami on campus, you can ask a little anecdote about their life. You can ask me about, hey, how's it going with work? How's your family? With Jimmy, you can say, how's your grandma doing? And is your grandma heading to this particular alumni event, right? You have ways that you can reach out to other students. Through this time of quarantine, so many people have really been starving for interpersonal connection, have been starving for friendship and for relationships. So this is going to be a really great way for you to ease into that. College is such a great time to meet people, such a great time to build alliances. A lot of people who are studying in your same program might end up being someone who can give you a referral for a job in the future. Might be somebody who could be a romantic interest later on in life. You could be somebody who ends up being a lifelong friend. You never know. That's why you should always put yourself out there to start those study groups, to initiate those conversations, and to get people to open. Remember, college is also a time to explore your interests. This might be the time to take on that foreign language you've always wanted to learn and do that semester abroad. College is also a great time to bond with other people over common interests, talents, and artistic abilities. I know my cousin Mimi, she was a social worker and she took a couple of photography classes on the side. And now that is a pretty lucrative side hustle for her. I had a really good friend named Maya who was a singer, and she actually got to take a year off to sing backup for jazz singer Cassandra Wilson and tour. Some of you guys might be really great musicians, and you can use this opportunity to lay down some stock music and get paid for it and make a residual income, or create that artwork that you can make and sell in your Etsy shop. You know, see, you have to do electives in college anyway. Don't let it just be all work, 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 crazy, crazy, crazy. Use it to make friends, maybe DJ parties, or to just create that artwork and get it critiqued and looked at by a professional teacher and artist. You know, college can be one of the best times of your life. So use those elective credits that you need to graduate anyway to explore your other interests. You never know where it could lead. Now, further on in her comment, she says that she's not exactly feminine. Now, I made a video about simple feminine hacks, like, for instance, trading out your baggy gray sweatshirts for colorful knit sweaters in the winter, and trading out those baggy, unflattering t-shirts for lace blouses, trading out sneakers for a pair of really cute boots or ballet flats. Those are simple things you can do, but at the same time, I really think femininity, the outward appearance of femininity, sometimes the tomboy angle can help you. Let me give you an example. Now, I'm a runner. I'm using this quarantine and the fact that there's no public and sponsored races as an opportunity to recover and get my injuries taken care of. But as a runner, the biggest race in the city of Austin is the Cap City 10K. This is a race that has about 25,000 runners, and a good part of it is corporately sponsored, right? This race has a lot of corporate sponsors. So you'll see everything from banks, car dealership, grocery stores, small businesses, wellness businesses, lots of people converging at this event. So the great thing about it is a lot of big corporations who are major sponsors, sometimes you will see they'll sponsor teams. And some of your junior level executives who are trying to catch the eye of maybe some of those senior level executives or got their eye on a promotion, sometimes will volunteer to run the race on behalf of their corporation. I've always volunteered to run the race on behalf of my current employer. And then all those corporate sponsored runners, we kind of have a separate like meetup location. And we all have matching t-shirts. It's kind of away from some of the general running public. I've met multiple business executives, banking executives, business owners, public relations managers, just people who are in really high corporate level positions in my running shoes. So because I use this unfeminine activity of being athletic, right, I can use that to my advantage. I probably meet more high earning corporate people in my running shoes than some of these femininity gurus meet in high heels at these bars and nightclubs, right? So sometimes femininity is relative, right? Still look your best, still be your best, but be the best version of you. So if you have a tomboy angle, play that up. It might not necessarily yield you the type of man that some of these YouTube gurus claim they have, but it can yield you the type of man, friendships, partnerships, alliances with people who have something in common with you. Now, everyone else who knows me knows that I am a huge sports fan, especially the sport of baseball. Now, my knowledge of the sport, my passion for the sport has really helped me navigate a lot of great stadium tours, sports bars, really great sporting events. I'm even a part of several Facebook groups, live chats that revolve around sports. And most of those spaces are male dominated. So me being a woman in these sports centered and male centered spaces, it can give you an advantage. So if I were single, trust me, I had leveraged my knowledge of sports to vet and meet plenty of men. Trust me, there are not just quote unquote high value men in these fancy restaurants and hotel bars. A lot of them have good tickets to sporting events and go to high-end sports bars to watch games. In fact, come baseball season, I'm going to have a whole video on how you can leverage baseball. I'll give you guys key talking points, key matchups that you should attend, even memorabilia and jerseys that you can buy that can help you initiate conversations. Because think about it. These guys are just talking about relative men that they can land. I actually got a former MLB player. I married one. So you don't necessarily have to be the most feminine wearing, high heel, beat face makeup having woman to maneuver and land yourself a high value man. You can do that with your little tomboy edge. Trust me. So I would tell this viewer that you don't necessarily have to be the most feminine. You can be athletic and you can be use a little bit of that tomboy energy to get yourself a guy that you have something in common with, not just who has a lot of money.
So you have to see, dating is a lot like your success. It's built on a ladder and it doesn't happen overnight. This is why I think you ladies should get out there now and stop waiting to quote unquote do your work and till you arrive or until you lose the weight. No, get out there right now because you need to start with the building blocks and the foundation. So right now, this woman here who says, I'm a broke college student. Listen, entry-level Eric should be on your dating roster right now. Okay, you shouldn't be hoping to get some millionaire and get flued out to be hypergamous. No, you don't need that to be hypergamous. Entry-level Eric has a lot to offer you. How many college graduates you know are looking for jobs and someone says, oh, we'd like to hire you, but you don't have any experience? Entry-level Eric, right, could be the perfect person for you to help you get to that next ladder. I'm going to give you an example. Do you remember in my Level Up Through Education video, I had talked about one of the girls who had worked in commercial banking? One of the ways she got the position that she has right now is through an entry-level Eric. She was seeing some guy she was interning with, right? Well, no, in fact, he was already a graduate, but he had interned before at that same banking institution, one of their chains. And he was a stoner, which was good because stoners, they eat all the time. Right? So he was always eating, buying snacks, buying food, which is great for a broke college student. So this entry-level Eric had talked about other banks he had worked at, other places he had been fired from, other bosses who had gotten on his back. She used that information to find out other banks who were hiring. So by spring break, she had her full-time summer job already on lock based on the information that entry-level Eric gave her. You see, men use women all the time. They use them for sex. They use them for money. They use them for a place to stay. They use them for clout. They use them for access to other women. How many times do you see one guy talk to a girl so he can get to her friends? Men do this all the time. Women, get on point. Get on the game. All right? Don't keep waiting, hoping for some millionaire to get you flued out. No. Entry-level Eric is not trying to get married, and you're a college student. Neither are you. Get in the game and see what you can get out of it. If there's nothing you can get out of it, move on. But if entry-level Eric, who's a stoner, who constantly is buying food and snacks, who can give you some inside information onto who's hiring and who's managing what at these banking industries, honey, entry-level Eric might be the perfect person for you. And then you can move on to middle management Matt and see what he has for you. And then when you get on to executive level Alex, he has more information for you. Then you can start vetting for marriage. You're not ready for marriage, and neither are they. So you might as well just see what you can get out of it. I'm going to give you another example. All right, my oldest daughter has a job at like a craft store. She makes around $9.50 an hour. The boy she is dating right now also is 16 years old, and he works at the grocery store. He makes over $11 an hour. Because he is an essential worker, he gets paid a little bit more. Now, this little boy has been at the grocery store since last summer. I've known this little boy for a little bit now. He's a good kid. You know, I've tipped him several times because he's a little boy who bags the groceries and carries them out to your car. And I'll give him $5 here, $5 there. And I was kind of hating on him a little bit because, you know, he had bought my daughter like a few pairs of sunglasses, and he had bought her some perfume. He knows that she likes those sheet masks that you put on your face, and he got her one in every variety from his grocery store. Very thoughtful, you know. But I was like, I'm tipping that little boy too much. He buying her these little gifts, little trinkets, you know. But anyway, he had come over for dinner, and he was talking about what it was like to just go from trying to save up for your first car to now being an essential worker. What it was like seeing people hoarding, what it was like seeing, you know, your elderly or vulnerable neighbors need toilet paper or paper towels, and the shelves were empty, and to see what it was like, you know, seeing people who are vulnerable need things and not have the money, and people bribing the stock boys to load more toilet paper into their cars, and you know, do you tell the manager? Do you not? You know, he did end up confronting one guy about it, and he was like, hey, I'm a bartender. I'm used to always having cash. Now I'm waiting 3 weeks for a paycheck. And so these people who are giving me $20 to load up rolls and rolls of toilet paper instead of just stock the shelves, I'm going to take it because I'm desperate. I don't have any gas in my car. I was a bartender a month ago, and I'm not used to not having cash on me. I can't wait 3 weeks for a paycheck to eat. You know, I'm used to being a waitress. So, yeah, it was just such a tough position that he had to be in, and a tough dilemma that he had to sort through. And it was such a challenging time for somebody who at the time was 15 going on 16 to deal with and to confront. And I said, you know what, Colton, I call him Colton. Colton, I have a lot of respect for you for going through that, for being a person who stood up for your neighbors, for being a person who, in such a difficult time, this was a difficult job for adults, and you took it on as a teenager. So I have a lot of respect for you. So technically it's hypergamy, right? She earns $9.25, he earns $11. But the most important thing is she's building a foundation. She built a foundation of a man who takes responsibility. So that's now one of her cornerstones. Any guy I date after this has to have some level of responsibility, has to take on some level of responsibility. So that's her foundation right now. Not just the money, the integrity that this boy had to demonstrate to be an essential worker during one of the most critical times in the country. And he took on that responsibility and faced it with integrity. So that says a lot about his character. So it's not just the $11.50 or $11.30 or however much this little boy's making right now. It's the integrity too. And another thing is the respect. This boy has the respect of my parents, even before I started dating him, because of his work ethic, because of his courtesy. So that right now, that's going to be a building block for her future. She's going to pick a guy who is responsible, who's courteous, who her parents will respect. That's what she's learning in her earliest stages of dating. Also, one thing I'll give Colton credit for is, you know, when you have 16-year-olds, you got to have to talk. You had to have the talk, you know, protecting yourself. And so, of course, I talked to Colton's mother, you know, like, hey, we just better stay in communication and about what's happening with our kids. And you know what Colton's mother said to me? She said, actually, Colton was pretty glad that my daughter didn't want to rush into things, because Colton, from working at the grocery store, he was stocking shelves in the baby aisle, and he realized that he also had a key to the cabinet where they keep the Similac and the Enfamil, because there's a high theft item, right? So he had the key to that. And when he saw how much baby formula cost versus how much he made, that made him think like, oh, maybe I might need to think a little bit more when it comes to being active, being sexually active. Like, this is a level of responsibility that I might have to take on, because right now I don't make the kind of money, to feed a kid right now. So maybe I might need to think. Maybe I might need to pump the brakes a little bit. And that's another thing too. Like, his mother didn't tell him that. His experience taught him that. And that's another thing. That's a foundational skill that my daughter is learning now. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, ladies. Get those foundational skills down. Get those foundational skills down now, while you're trying to lose the weight, while you're trying to get the degree. Get those foundational skills now, so that while you're working on your femininity, while you're working on your vetting, okay, let me tell you something. The best vetting strategy is being busy. So if you're working your way through school, a vetting strategy is being busy, because you need the guy who's going to take the effort and come after you. You need the guy who's going to make the time. You need the guy who's going to pursue you, because you don't have the kind of time. You don't have that time. You don't have the time to be waiting by the phone. You don't have the time. You're busy. This is the best time to date, because your schedule is going to do a lot of the vetting for you. What's also going to do a lot of the vetting for you is the fact that you got something going on. So these guys who have nothing going for themselves, you automatically are going to weed them out. Because they're like, you ain't never here. You can't never do. So all these dudes who don't want to do nothing but sit by and watch Netflix, you automatically weeded them out, because you're busy. And they're going to be jealous of your busy schedule. And that's going to weed them out. That's going to weed these dudes who are sitting there waiting for women to come to them. That weeds them out of your dating algorithm, because you're busy. So this is the perfect time to get in the game. When you got a lot of stuff to do, when you got shit to do, only a certain type of man is attracted to a woman like that. You automatically weed out broke dusties. You automatically weed out lazy individuals. And I hate that word, broke dusty, but you automatically weed out these lazy, unopportune, these unambitious. You automatically weed them out, because you're busy. These entitled dudes, you weed them out, because they're not going to go pursue you, because they're entitled. They're waiting for women to come to them. Like, they just want they're like fishermen who just want the fish to come swim up to shore and lay down in the boat as opposed to having to go and work for it. So, ladies, let your schedule do some of the vetting for you by putting yourself out there. Come on now. Y'all sitting here waiting for this perfect time. You sitting here waiting, hoping that some millionaire's going to come get you and so you can go get flued out. No. Entry level Eric and middle management Matt has a lot to teach a broke college student. You better get in the game, girl.
Femininity, level up, divestment. That advice should empower you, not intimidate you. Get in the game. It really doesn't matter how you come, as long as you show up. So we can work on the fine tuning later. You can work on the weight, the makeup, the clothing, the speech, the mannerisms. All those things can be a work in progress. But while you're doing your work, you need to work it and get out there. College should be a memorable and great time in your life. Don't sit back on the sidelines, waiting to be perfect or hoping that you're going to get flued out by a millionaire. Get in the game now. You never know what you're going to learn, because there's so much open and there's so much opportunity. Just get out there, ladies. That's so much more important than binge watching some 4-hour live. And if you are going to watch a 4-hour live, hey, multitask, please. Do your nails while the live is going on. Deep condition your hair. Put a roller set in. Do your meal prep for the week. Iron your clothes and pick out your outfits. Take a walk while the live is going on. And if it's at night, get some good sleep and then listen to it in the morning while you're taking your walk. Just really, ladies, listen to it while you're in the bubble bath and relaxing. So please just multitask. Don't just spend all these hours on these lives. And if it makes you angry and outraged, where you feel that you got to start twiddling your thumbs to get back at these people because you're going to let these broke dusties know. Come on. It's just so not worth your energy. What's really worth your energy is you investing in yourself and you investing in your time, you investing in your passions, and just really learning how to be a best version of you. And that really doesn't matter if it's super feminine and girly or if you have a little bit of a tomboy edge. Whoever, or maybe just even a little bit of both. Whoever you are, show up as the best version of you as long as you're present. I could care less how many videos you like or how much level up information you binge watch. It's really about getting out there. This is Mocha Mommy, and I'll see you in the next video.